Welcome, future accountants and financial professionals. I am thrilled to guide you through today's lesson, a continuation of the previous lesson, which is still on handling sales and purchases using Sage 50. So let's get started. So if you are there with your system, I want you to quickly open your Sage 50 software. So for this very lesson, we will use the same case study for Mira Global Services. So that same scenario is what we are going to use. And I'm sure you have gone through that case study. So we are going to look into it, a scenario where you will purchase from Giant Travel Tours Limited, who happen to be a vendor. So if I go to my vendors module and I come over here, I will click on this vendors icon, then I will choose view. So we are going to use this case study scenario where we will purchase from this vendor called Giant Travel Tours Limited. And not only that, we will also, that's for purchase transaction. Now for sales transaction, when we go to customers and say, let's view, so you click on the icon, choose view. So if we say, let us view our customers. So we will also use this case study scenario of Mira Global Services Limited and sell to Chevron Nigeria Limited, which is the only customer we have entered. Which I believe that every one of you have done your homework. Your homework. You know you are to complete the other customers and that of the other vendors. So I believe you have done that. Now, before we can record sales transaction or purchase transaction, there is something we must first of all confirm, and that is inventory. Because when we went through the previous lesson, you find out that this customer who happened to be receiving something or trying to exchange money, the exchange of that money is for an item, an inventory, a service. So you must ensure first that that service, that inventory is first of all captured on your Sage 50 software, because if there is no service, if there is no inventory, then there can't be any transaction of such nature. So that's the first thing you have to confirm. Do you have the required service on your system? Do you have the required inventory set up on your system? So you now have to confirm this. So if you have gone through the course outline, you will find out that we have a separate lesson on inventory management. So in that lesson, we'll still talk about inventory, okay, as a separate concept here. But due to this very lesson, we'll also do that quickly, just to give you a solid understanding of how these things works. So let's get started with the inventory item for purchase. So first, to confirm, we'll go to the inventory and services model on your navigator section. So you click on inventory and services. Now, once you come over to inventory and services, you will then find out that on the dashboard that opens, you have inventory items, right? Click on it. When you click on that icon, navigate to the list of options that appear. You will see that there is a second option called view and edit inventory items. So that's where you click on each time you want to view. So if we have clicked on it, what do you notice? You find out that there is no inventory. There is no service, not at all. So that tells us that we have to now set up that inventory item for our purchase transaction and for our sales transaction to be live. Okay. So, but there are companies you will be working with that on their Sage system, you find out that inventory are already there, services are already in it. Then you don't have to struggle and stress yourself. Okay, but this one is from scratch. Just in case you want to record a service or you want to record a sales transaction, you want to record a purchase transaction, and you realize that there is no service that relates to that transaction. There is no inventory that relates to that transaction. If that is what you've realized, this is what you have to do. Okay? This is what you have to do. Okay, so let us go. So to set up an inventory item, we are going to come over to inventory and services. Then we'll come to this icon here, inventory items. We'll click on it and then choose the option new inventory item. So once we do that, we'll then enter the inventory. So for our inventory item for purchase, we have an inventory name, an item name called corporate travel package. Corporate travel package. Now, when you open the inventory item dashboard, you will find out that there are lots and lots of tabs. Here you have to provide information or fields. And it begins with the item ID. Item ID just means item number. So every item must have a unique identifier, which is a number you can use to trace it, to track it. I hope you understand. So therefore, for this, our item is going to be item ID 1. Since it's the first, we don't have any item. So enter 1. We then go down to description. Description is where you now provide the name of the item. Okay, so here we'll say the name of this item is corporate travel package. Item class. On item class, that's where you will now provide the type of item. I hope you all are following the type of item. So over here, we are going to use, you click on the drop down and select stock item. Stock item. Now, once you have done this, you then come down. Description, is this item for sales or this item is for purchases? Remember, the item we are setting up is an item, an inventory item for what? Purchase. So we'll come and choose for purchase. Now, once you're done with this, though the description has no effect, okay, it's just, we're just putting that for purchase, whether it's for sales, you can still sell it, you can still buy it. Then come over to price level 1. On price level 1, that's where you're now going to enter the selling price. Price level 1, this box, you enter the selling price. So let's say this is sold at 1.5 million naira per package. So for those of you in your respective countries, naira is a Nigerian currency. So I'm a Nigerian, that's why I'm using naira. So it's sold at 1,500,000 naira. That's where we put the selling price. So Sage calls selling price price level. And the reason why it is called price level 1 is because to Sage 50, it believes that this business or a business can have multiple price levels. So there are businesses that has prices for different type of customers. They can have prices for retail customers. They can have prices for wholesale customers. They can have prices for open market customers, just like that. Okay, some can have prices for professionals. They can have prices for this and just like that. It's just like you know what I'm talking about. You can put this into different scenario. Okay, look at it like let's say a comedy event. You know, in a comedy event, they can have different price range. They have for regular, they have for VIP, they have for others. Okay, so if that's the case, you're in a business that have different price level for that one product, what do? You now come click on this arrow here. It will now bring you this box. On this box, you now set up all the different prices that you have. You just enter them there. If price level 2 is at, let's say, 1 million, that means it has been discounted. In case of situation where the company is saying, give this person at the discounted price. You know, there are businesses that have discounted price. Okay, so you just come and select that one. So you now also have to do that setup. Over here in price level 2, you now put 1 million naira. This becomes the selling price, second selling price. We call it price level. So this is how we set it up. You then click OK. So this way, when you're now recording your sales transaction, to be easier for you to record that sales. So price level is the same thing as selling price. And we are told here that the selling price per package of this corporate travel package is 1,500,000. Now let's talk about purchase cost. For purchase cost, what we call purchase cost here is the last unit cost. So under last unit cost field, let's assume that the purchase cost of this product is 1,200,000 naira. So this is where we come and put it, 1,200,000 naira. I hope we understand this. Please pay attention to this. Once this has been completed, you will now move to the next required information, which talks about cost method. So here you are going to click on the drop down, and you'll find out that we have different cost methods. We have the FIFO, we have the LIFO, and we have the average. So for this type of setup that we are doing here, what we use is the average. So we'll come here and click on average. Now you ask me a question that, sir, why are you using average cost method? Why? Why are you using average cost method? Now I want you to imagine this. Let me share a short story with you. Imagine you walk into an airport, maybe the airport in Lagos State, or in Abuja, or in Port Harcourt, or in your countries, in Nairobi, in the United States, you know, any European country out there or Asian country. You went directly to, or in India, you went to one of your airports. You find out that this airport on that particular day, you know, is filled up with passengers who are traveling across the world. There are families going on vacation. There are business people headed for critical meetings and tourists ready for adventure. Now, behind this, there is an invisible but important part that makes all this travel going on to be seamless. Corporate travel package, which is the product we have here, is a product of travel agencies. And if you recall, we said that Mira Global Services Limited also operates that subsidiary, that arm. They have their subsidiary of, you know, travel agency subsidiary. So that subsidiary manages flights for them, manages hotels, manages their transportation logistics. This travel agency have to keep track of every single service they provide, the cost involved, and the profits they make. This can also be related to other businesses. If we say, okay, let's go outside the airport scenario, if we bring it down to small businesses in your country, maybe even your own business, the principles that run that massive airport ecosystem are the same ones you will apply to managing travel services, cost, and inventory in your business using Sage 50. So when we talk about average, you're asking why the average cost method? It is because when you are running a business, especially a business involving products like travel packages or services, you often have to purchase items or services from multiple sources at different price. Sometimes the cost of a flight or hotel booking changes based on demand. Sometimes it changes based on availability. Sometimes it changes based on season. The reason why I am saying this is because I have worked with a travel agency before. I've worked with an organization as group accountant, which has this subsidiary that is into travel agency. So rather than recording each price separately, the average cost method is used. Now, this method takes all the prices you have paid for an item over time, adds them up, and divides by the number of items purchased to find an average. Sage 50 uses this to make managing your inventory easier, especially for services like travel packages that can have fluctuating costs, just like I said. Okay, let us do a little mathematics. Let me bring out my notepad so you get to understand what this average is actually doing here. All right, so on my notepad, you will see that the customers and vendors are still there. So for those of you that have not done your homework, please ensure to do that. Customers of Mira Global Service, they want you to set up from Medicare, Lagos State, Treasure, ARIC. Remember to set it up. Those of vendors, do your vendor setup for Total Nigeria, Nigeria Medical Supplies Limited, Dangote Cement PLC, National Grid Nigeria, do your setup. Okay, so if you have done this, then let's go to the little mathematics I was talking about. Okay, all right, now let's look at this example. I want you to understand the cost methods better because a lot of accountants don't understand its application here in an accounting software, especially Sage 50. Now, flow with me. Let's say that if Giant Travel Tours Limited, this vendor, sells you, let's say you are the owner of this business now, or you are the accountant in charge of this business, and this your vendor called Giant Travel Tours Limited. We can abbreviate as GTTL. Hope I'm right. Now, if GTTL sells you 3 travel packages at different prices, let's say prices like 1,200,000, another price 1,150,000, another price 1,300,000 naira. The average cost will be calculated to smooth out these variations. Because if you look at it, there are differences at 1,200,000, at 1,150,000, at 1,300,000. So it will now make it easier for you to track and manage what you paid for the packages. So in this case, what will the average cost be? The average cost would be 1,216,666 per package. I hope we understand. Why is the average cost important? Why is it useful here in Sage 50? The first reason I always share with my students, they know, is that the average cost simplifies bookkeeping by avoiding the need to track each individual purchase price. Why is the average price important? It is because the average price provides a consistent method for valuing inventory. So when you sell a travel package you know what the average cost was. Why is the average cost important? It is because the average cost helps in forecasting cost and pricing strategies for future transactions. So it's important that you understand this. So therefore, we will now proceed with this. So that's the reason why we are using average. You can go and do your research on others, like the FIFO, first in, first out, the LIFO, and others. Okay, so come over to this other section. You will see where we have sales accounts. I hope you can see it. Sales accounts. GL sales accounts. GL sales accounts. Have you seen that? GL sales accounts. GL sales accounts. All right. So for the GL sales accounts, that's where you're going to select the accounts for the sales of this item that tracks it, that keeps record of it for you. So what that means is anytime I sell corporate travel package, I record sales transaction for corporate travel package. Which account should keep track of the income, the cash, the payments for that sales transaction? Which accounts should keep that record for me so that I can go and check to know how much is there, how much I've sold? That's what this box is asking you to provide. The sales account. The account, you know what account is? An account is a place where transactions is posted to. Is a place where transactions is allocated to, or where transactions is recorded into. So where is that place? That's what we call an account. So there are different types of account. This one is the type we call sales. What is sales? We looked into it in previous lesson. We talked about what sales represents. You're selling what you sell in exchange of a value of money. So that place where anytime you sell, the transaction in monetary terms should go and stay and reside and be posted. That's what it is asking you for. So what you now do is to click on this glass icon. And you're expecting once you click that you will see the accounts here. But if you look on, you will now go check all your income. So we only have patient service revenue. It can't go because the product in question must be related to the revenue accounts, the income accounts. So patient service revenue and corporate travel package, they are not related. So we can't select that. Oil and gas sales, it can't go because corporate travel package is meant for travel agencies. Tuition fee, it can't go because corporate travel package and tuition fees are not related. So when you are structuring your chart of account, ensure that your accounts are provided in line with the product requirements. There must be that relationship. It must be related. When we go into the world of databases, we say a database is a collection of related information. Now look at this account as a database. So every account here must be a collection of related items, related transaction. It's very important. If we go down to item 4004, it talks about construction contract income. That one too can't go because construction contract income, you know, through the nature of that income account, looks into construction. Then if we go down, we'll see ticket sales and commissions. This would have been related, but I will not advise you to go with this because this is carefully looking at ticket sales and commission. This is corporate travel package, not tickets, not commission. So therefore, what do you do in such situation? You're in a company, they have given you their Sage 50 software, they ask you to set up an inventory for them, to record a transaction for them, and you figure out that on trying to set up, enter that item, the account that you're to link up is not there. What do you do? What you're going to do is to go and create that account. You don't manage. We don't do the managing stuff here. No, because anything you do here will affect your reports later. And it will, you know, at the end of the day, that you have to present. So for that reason, okay, you don't manage. Go and create it. It's not difficult. Now, instead of going back to maintain model, to go and create again, you can do it here. There is a button below here. Can you see this button? New, where my cursor is. Follow with my cursor. New. Click on the new, and it will bring your chart of accounts screen here, window here. So over here, you now create. Okay, so the last was, so let's click on this. Let's confirm where the last income account stopped at. It stopped at 4005, ticket sales and commissions. Okay, so I'm going to close this, and the next will be 4006. All right, so description, that now falls back to you. Since you've figured out that it will be better for you to have this new account set up. So what will now be the name? So we can call it travel services, sales. So we can come here and say sales, travel services. Can you see it? Account type, we choose income, and that's it. Then you go up and click on save. Click on your list. When you click on your list, you scroll down, you should now find 4006 ID, which is sales travel services. So you can do it this way too. You can say sales travel services. You can change others. Sales construction contract, sales ticket sales and commission, sales tuition fees, sales oil and gas, sales patient service revenue. You understand? Then the reason why this is this way is because I told us the case study for Mira. Mira happened to be a multidisciplinary organization that has several subsidiaries. So I just want you to have an understanding and this taste of practical work experience. I hope you understand. All right. So now that we have it set up, we'll then close and then come back here for our GL sales account. We'll now click on the icon and then go down and select it. 4006 sales and travel services. I hope we understand this. So now that we are good to go with this, the next is inventory accounts. Now, for inventory accounts, it's very important. Okay, it's very important, and I will tell us why it is important. Now, let's look at this setup we are doing now for corporate travel package, which is all about travel services. Now, in the world of travel services, inventory is not just physical products like hotel room, keys, physical product like flight tickets, it's a physical product. No, it is also the services you provide, even in your business. So when you buy a package, this package will be bought from Giant Travel Tours Limited, GTTL. So when you buy, imagine you're working with, you're the accountant, you're the finance manager of this company. Now, when you buy a package from the vendor, Giant Travel Tours Limited, you are essentially stocking up on a service that you will resell to your customers. This service is treated as part of your inventory. You ask me, sir, so are you saying this inventory account I'm to provide here is for me to use that account to track the inventory we have in travel services? Yes, that's the account that tracks it, that tells you the value of inventory that you have. So you ask me, sir, why do I have to track inventory in a travel service company like this in Sage 50? Even though travel agencies don't deal with physical stock like products, they still need to track their service-based inventory. Sage 50 helps you do this by recording the number of packages, by recording the number of services you have available for sale and the associated costs. And that's the account that takes care of that. So let's say, for example, you purchase 5 corporate travel package from Giant Travel Tours Limited at different times. Sage 50 will help you keep track of these packages so you can see how many packages are left, so you can see the average cost of each package, so you can see the financial impact when you sell a package to a client, like let's say Chevron, who is one of your customers. You then ask me, sir, why is inventory useful? Why is this inventory account useful? Especially to a travel service scenario we are looking at. Why is it useful? The first reason, if you heard me, I said it is the account that keeps track. There is what we call track availability. So one of the reasons why it is useful here in Sage 50 is because it is that account that ensures you don't oversell packages that you don't have. So it tracks the availability of your products. You ask me, sir, why is it useful? The other reason is because of what we call cost management. You must be able to manage costs. So it is useful because it helps you to know how much you have paid for each package, so you can price it appropriately. There is what we call financial reporting. You ask me, sir, why is it useful? And I will tell you that as far as financial reporting is concerned, the inventory account helps you track, and ensures that your reports are accurate. So the inventory tracking here helps you pull accurate reports on the value of your remaining services, products, which is crucial for accurate financial statements. So this is important, and that's why I want you to understand it. So therefore, what do I now do? You now have to link it the same way we link sales travel services account. We'll now also link it to these area accounts. So how do we link it? To link this, you will now go click on the icon. You check, do we have any inventory accounts here? We don't have. It's also an asset. So since you don't have it here, after checking, okay, since you don't have it here, what do you do? Remember all our assets? We use 1010. So 106 is the next. So you come down, click on new. When you click on new, it brings you here. The next will be 1007. Okay, or 1006, sorry. Then the description, we are going to call it inventory. Then put a dash, travel package. So this one will take care of all your travel packages. So inventory, travel packages. I hope you understand this. Inventory, travel packages. So once you're done with this, account type, instead of stressing yourself selecting assets here, okay, Sage already provides inventory asset accounts category. So select it. It will still fall back to where it belongs in your reports. So once you have done this, come up, click on save, and click on list to confirm that it has been saved. So if you come to 1006, yes, we have inventory travel packages. So you can close this, then you can also close this. So where we have inventory accounts, you click on the icon, and then you can type it if you know the number 1006. It will take you there. Inventory travel packages, you select it. So that's how we'll do that. I hope we understand. The next is the GL cost of sales accounts, which is also very important for you to take note of, especially when you're working here. Now, the GL cost of sales account is just all about your cost of goods sold. So imagine that every time you sell a travel package to a client like Chevron Nigeria Limited, there is a hidden cost. Now, this cost is the amount you paid when you purchased that package from Giant Travel Tours Limited. In accounting, this is called the cost of sales or cost of goods sold. Why is cost of sales important? Cost of sales is important because it helps you calculate what we call gross profit. And we know that gross profit is the difference between what you sell the package for and what it costs you to buy it. So we can simply say gross profit equals sales price minus cost of sales. I hope we understand these things because it's very important. For example, let's go to our drawing board. We are talking about cost of sales. We are here in our drawing board. Okay, so we said, for example, first we said that gross profits is equal to our sales price minus our cost of sales. Now, we said, for example, if you sell this corporate travel package that we are setting up here, let's give it an abbreviation, CTP, for corporate travel package. So let's assume we are selling this to Chevron, who is a customer we have set up. Remember, we set up Chevron. Now we are selling corporate travel package to Chevron for 1 million. The selling price we entered 500,000, 1,500,000. And remember, the average cost we did before, we said that the average cost is what? 1,216,000 CCCs. So if you sell this CTP corporate travel package to Chevron for 1,500,000 and it costs you 1,216,000 CCCs, which is the average cost, your gross profits would be what? Your gross profits is going to be 283,000, hope I'm correct, 334. Now you can see that the cost of sales is important because it helps you calculate gross profit. Now, in Sage 50, you don't have to do this. Yours is just to set up. You find out that when you go to your report, you will meet this there. Sage will set it up for you without stress, without stressing you. I hope we understand this. It's just like we're saying that, okay, the selling price is 1.5. The last unit cost is 1.2. The difference, it will automatically gives that for you. So tracking your cost of sales ensures you know how much money you are making on each transaction. A lot of businesses don't know how much they are making on each transaction. A lot, especially in my country, Nigeria, where we have a lot of small, medium scale businesses. They're everywhere. They don't know. And this is important. You must be able to adjust your pricing. You must be able to adjust your sales strategies. And cost of sales ensures this for you. You ask me, sir, why is cost of sales useful? Why can't I just go ahead and ignore it? I'm saying, no, you don't have to do that because it's useful. It is useful because it gives you a clear picture of how profitable each sale is. It is useful because it helps businesses set the right selling price to ensure profitability. It is useful because it ensures that you can monitor any changes in cost over time. You can adjust operations accordingly. So all these are very important. You then ask me, so what do I now do practically? How do I, apply it? And I will tell you, it's not difficult. The same way you have done others, you continue that way. What do I mean? You will come, click on the icon by the side of cost of sales account. You look for it. You find out that it's not here. Come down, click on new. When this pops up, you give a number to that. We can call it 7001. You come down, description. You provide a name for it. So to maintain a well-structured pattern, we'll say cost of sales for travel services. Account side, we choose cost of sales. So it already provides cost of sales. Account type there. It will still go in your report. It will fall where it should be. So just pick it. Then come up and click on what? Save. That's all. Once you're done, click on list. Go confirm if the accounts have been saved. And you can see it here, 7001. Cost of sales, travel service, cost of sales. You close this and then you close this. And that's all. You come over to cost of sales account here and then you select that account. So we are going to scroll down to where you see cost of sales. Item tax type. This is where you select your tax. So there is a lesson that talks about tax setup. So I don't want to skip that. So when we get to that lesson, you understand this aspect better. Do you understand? So for this, just leave it this way. Number one is just talking about your regular, okay, but it has not been set up. So just select that and keep it. So assuming you've done your tax setup, this is where you select VAT. If VAT is applicable to it, you include it. I hope you understand this. So once this has been done, you're good to go. All others can hold on. Then preferred vendor ID. Who is the vendor you purchase this from? We said it's Giant Travel. So when you click, you'll see all your vendors. You now link it to the vendor, Giant Travel Tours. It saves you stress because when during sales or purchase transaction, you find out that it will be easier for you. When you just click an item, it will just pull up because it knows that this is the vendor. So the vendor ID is what will appear, one. So if you have taken note of something, you should understand here. You understand that every account is the ID that is appearing. Yes, say don't joke with it. That's why your ID is very important. And it's something you have to have a notebook, have a list of all your accounts and the account ID. It is that account ID we call account code. And you have to store them so you don't forget. Minimum stock, we don't have any, so ignore. Reorder quantity, you can set your reorder quantity. At what quantity should you reorder? Should the system notify you that, oh, it is time, you have to reorder for this? You can do all that. But for now, this is what is important. Once you're done with this, you can come to custom fields. You want to provide an alternate vendor, another vendor you can get this from, it's fine. History, you will get to see history of this. You'll be able to track the history of activities for this very product. Bill of materials, item attributes, we'll talk about this during the lesson on inventory setup. But for this is important. So once you're done, this is on general, you come up and click on save. That's all. Then click on list. When you click on list, confirm if that package is now there. You can now see it. Corporate travel package, stock item, price level 1, last unit cost. You can see it. If there's any other information you want to appear, like I told us, come to settings, set up the display. Okay, so you can scroll down and say, okay, we need quantity on hand to appear. You click it and you say add. You need reorder quantity to appear. You click it, you say add. So that way you can also be able to, you know when to reorder. Then you click OK. And you can see it has been added. So let's set the reorder quantity. To edit, just double click on it. Where we have reorder quantity, we are going to put, we can put reorder quantity to be, let's say 20 as in units. Then we'll say save. I hope we understand. So if we go back to list, we will now find our product there. So this is an item we have set up, and we say this inventory item is for purchase, and will also be used for sale, but it's majorly for purchase. That's why we linked it up. Okay, so we have difference. So you can be comparing your quantity on hand and your reorder quantity. You can also do the same for your minimum quantity. This is easy, right? Good. So this takes care of, this will take care of purchase transaction. Now let's talk about sales transaction. The one we'll sell, we'll use for the sales practice here to Chevron, our customer. So for that one, we'll also do the setup for the inventory. How do we set up inventory again here? We'll go to inventory and services model, come to inventory items, you see new inventory item. If you also go to your maintain, if you come down, you also see inventory items. So there are different ways to navigate. Okay, it's either you navigate this way or this way, you will see everything there. So 2 ways. Your maintain gives you access to those models for setup, and your navigator section on the left, you can also go and set up through the dashboard for each features. So if you want to come through here, you can also click on inventory item. It will bring it from maintain. Item ID, this will be the second. So you say 2 because you already have 1. So description. Now that you understand this, let's now proceed. So this one that I want to say, we can call it oil field service support, but we are selling it to Chevron. So oil field service support. Item class, we are going to choose the same item that we choose before. But since this oil field service support is not a physical stock, it's not a physical product, we're not going to choose stock item again. Instead, we are going to choose service as the item class. It's like item category. What type of item is this? Oil service support is a service item. So item class what you're going to choose is service. I hope we understand this. Then when you come down, description, put it as for sales. Price level 1, which is the selling price. Let's assume that the selling price we are given that we are given a selling price as, let's say the selling price is 2 million naira per service. So we'll say 2 million. Okay, last unit cost, which is called the purchase cost, we'll also put it there. But it's not compulsory. Since this is a service, okay, and not a physical stock item, you can leave it, or you can still set it up provided it is available. You can come here and put the purchase cost. If purchase is given to you, you can come and also put it. I hope we understand. I hope we understand this. All right. So once you have done this, you can see item type, location, stocking, unit of measure, all of that. Just come here, come to where we have. So let's say this is at 1.5 million. Then GL sales accounts, you also link it to the sales account for this. So if you go through, you will look for the income account that matches. We have oil and gas sales. So why don't we have oil and gas service? So that means we are going to come down and click on new. So this will give an ID that matches with the income. The last was 4006 from right. So the next one now is going to be 4007. Okay, so let's ignore opening too many windows. 4007, new. 4007, description, sales, oil field services. Account type, income. That's all. Okay, so let's also click save and new. Let's do for others, so it will be easier for us. For example, if you go through this, you see the next is talking about the GL salary/wages accounts. So that very one will know it. Then the GL cost of sales accounts. So we are going to set up that very one. So for our cost of sales accounts, this is what we are going to do. We're also going to set it up. So the last cost of sales, sorry, was 7001. So we are going to come down here. We say 7002. So what will be the name? We'll say cost of sales. Cost of sales. So cost of sales, this will be oil field services. Oil field services, okay? Then for our account type, we're going to choose cost of sales. That's all. So we'll click on our save. So this being done, we can now come back after confirming that. Come select your 40 oil field service. So you have to be careful here. Oil field service. Ignore this. You don't need it. GL cost of sales accounts. We have oil field service cost of sales, your item tax type, like I told us. So once you're done with this, you can click on save. Okay, and click on save. Now, that being said, for this other one, which we have to also provide, otherwise we can't. Okay, so we're having a valid account must be selected before continuing. So you come down, click on OK, and that's for the GL salary/wages accounts that you can see that comes after the GL sales account. Now, this is something you must take note of. When you are working with Sage 50, in Sage 50, when you are setting up a service item and you are required to provide this account called GL salary/wages accounts. Now, what this account actually means, okay, where you cannot skip it, it actually means it's just an account that relates to expenses tied to your labor cost. that is associated with the service you are offering. Let me give us an example. For example, if this service item, oil field service support, involves labor provided by employees, involves labor provided by contractors, involves labor provided by, let's say, consultants, the cost of that labor needs to be tracked and assigned to a specific general ledger account. So that's what Sage is asking, like, what is that account? I hope you understand it now. So the question now falls back to you. What account should I create? What account? First, understand that the account you're to create must be an expense account. So it is now for you to decide, should it be an expense account for labor costs? For example, wages expenses, as it is stated, wages expenses now takes care of regular employee salaries, or contractor expense, maybe expense for freelancers or for contractors, or maybe we can say, okay, let the account be service labor expense. That's for labor tied to a specific service offering. And that's the best you should set up for. I hope we understand what I've said. So that's what this account takes care of. Expenses tied to this service. The cost associated, every service has costs associated to it. So you will do the same thing. Click on the icon, come down, choose new. When it brings up this new screen, you give an ID to that expense. So we'll click on list to confirm the last expense account number, which is 5005. So once we have done this, we are then going to make this to be our 5006. Description, we'll give it a name. What name? Shortcut method I'm using, otherwise you have gone through maintain and choose your chart of accounts. Okay, so we have used account ID, a unique identifier like 5006. So we want to give it a name. The name, we can call it service labor expense. So we say service expense, can call it service expense. Then account type, we are going to use our expenses. That's all. You click on your save. You click on list to confirm that you don't have that service expense account to track the cost associated with it. So we'll come down to this. Okay, you can see it here, 5006 service expense. Okay, so that's what we'll do. So now that we are done, we'll now assign that account to our service item setup. Okay, so if you are now trying to save and you see that it is prompting you that a valid account must be selected before continuing, you now come and click on that icon and then look for it here. So it's our expense, service expense. We then select it. So why is this important? You ask me, sir, why is this important? Now, this is important because this is what ensures that every time you use this service item, any associated labor costs will be accurately recorded in your financial statements. This will provide a clear picture of your cost structure. You ask me, sir, why is this important? Why does this matter? It matters because this account is what will help you with reporting also. It makes it easier for you to track how much is being spent on your service-related labor, your wages, and that way it will contribute to better decision-making and financial planning. So when you've done this now, you're now ensuring that your costs, your labor costs, are properly tracked and aligned with your service operations. So once this has been done, you can now proceed and click on what? Save. Then go to list. When you go to list, you then realize that, wow, I now have these two items set up. So this is how we do a quick setup of item here. Very important. So whether you're selling a corporate oil field package, a corporate travel package, or you're managing an oil field support service for a client like Chevron, Sage 50 gives you the insights you need to succeed. And that's it. It's important. So now that we have the inventory, the service we need for both our purchase transaction and also for our sales transaction, then if you take note too, we necessarily do not need to provide a vendor yet. And the reason is because you are the provider. For example, if you come here for this oil field, you see where we have below preferred vendor ID. This is a service, not a physical stock item. So that's why we necessarily do not provide that, because we can't say it's Giant Travel. No, it's a service. You are the one providing this service. So you're also the vendor of it. You're also the provider of it. So we'll leave that to be blank that way. Or you can decide to go and set up your company there. So you can just pick it up. Maybe you go and let's say you go and set up, let's say you're setting up yourself. So this service is provided by Mira Global. So if you like, you go and bring Mira Global there. And that's fine. I hope we understand this. So now, let's know and record our purchase and our sales. Don't forget that our sales is what we show how the clients in person are going to be invoiced, are going to be tracked and linked to the appropriate accounts in Sage 50. For purchases, I'm going to show you the entire process of creating a purchase order. And that's for this vendor called, I think that's Giant Travel. So it's for the corporate travel package from Giant Travel Tours Limited. So we'll be recording it in the system here. And we'll look at how it affects inventory and accounts. Then for sales, like I said, I'll be showing you both the corporate travel package and oil field service support, how they are invoiced, how they are tracked, and how they are linked to the appropriate account. So we'll be doing this using what we call sales invoice. And by the end of the day, we'll now look into reports. You have to pull up certain reports that will show you the financial impact of these transactions on both the income statements, sales revenue, that's what we mean, and the balance sheets, your statement of financial position, which is your inventory and cost of goods sold. So look at all this so you get to understand this from a concrete point of view. So let's get started. How do we record purchase transaction in Sage? We are going to create a purchase order from Giant Travel Tours Limited. So right now, I'm going to walk you through the process of purchasing that product we set up called Corporate Travel Package from Giant Travel Tours Limited, and how we record it here in Sage. We record the transaction here in Sage 50. So what's the first step? This first step is for you to go to a particular feature we call purchase order. So to do that, is either you come through your tax module, you scroll down, you will see purchase order, okay? Or you go through your vendors and purchases, you will come and see purchase order here. So if we go through tax, we'll just come down and select purchase orders. So when we do that, it now opens purchase order. You now provide and enter your purchase order details. For example, under where we have vendor ID, you now select, who is this vendor we are buying from? Giant Travel and Tours. You select it. Everything now appears, right? Good. You can see the GL account also pops up, 5004. Awesome. Dates. You put the dates for that transaction. You put the dates. Put the dates. Then, if we are doing that, you also come down. Quantity. But before quantity, come to item and select the item ID. So this is where you select corporate travel package. So click on the icon, select corporate travel package. Okay. Once you have done this, the GL account of it also appear. You can see it's 1006. Then come to quantity. Enter the quantity you want to purchase. So let's say the quantity you want to purchase is 10, or let's say is 100. We'll put 100. Okay, we'll put 100. We have not received, so ignore that column for received. So once you have done this, set the required dates, like I said here. Calendar is there for you to set the required dates. Then set the shipping method, ship to. It's going to be shipped to your company, which is Mira Global Services Limited. So once you're done with this, you can now save this record. So don't forget net terms. If you're buying on credit, the net terms, you can enter it here. You can also see below that we have vendor balance on January 1st, 2024, meaning that we are owing this vendor 2 million naira already. Okay. If you look here, you see A/P, that's the account payable account that keeps track of this. This money goes there since we have not paid for it. So once this is done, is there any discount given? This is where you provide it. Customer invoice number, this is where you provide it. Customer SO number, this is where you provide it. But this is, you understand? So once we are done with this, we'll now click on save. Then you check list, click on list to confirm it's there. You can see it there, 120 million. And it's open. It's open. If there's any information you want to display, you click on settings, so you can also choose what you want to actually appear there. I hope we understand this. All right. So once this has been done, we have just created our purchase order for our purchase transaction. I hope we understand. Now that you have done this, your work does not stop here. You now need to record this purchase. What you have done, you have just entered the purchase order details. You have not recorded the purchase. You have saved it, yes. How about to record that, yes, this have been purchased? To do that, you will now go back to your tax menu and use another feature. Yeah, we call receive inventory. So you come down, you see where we have receive purchase / receive inventory. I hope you can see it. So you're going to click on that option, receive inventory. If you don't want to come through the tax model, you can go back to your vendor and purchases. Okay, when you come over there, you also see that we have our purchase orders here. So you can view your purchase order. Okay, but to confirm this, you can also come to your inventory and services. You will see purchase order is also there. So if you want to create it from here, it's fine. Then you see receive inventory is also here. So if we come here through inventory and we click on receive inventory, it takes us to that same window. So any of them you want to use. If you want to come to tax, you can come each time there when you want to receive. Choose purchases / receive inventory. Now, once you do that, it brings out this window. On this window, you then select the vendor ID. Who is this vendor we are receiving, we are purchasing from? You say Giant Travel Tours. Once you do that, once you have done this, you then come to now record the receipt of that goods, confirming that the inventory has been received. I hope you understand this. So it's just like, even here, you can also record the purchase here at the same time. Because if we are coming through here, it means that we are coming to say, this is the item, corporate travel package, okay? And we are doing everything here at the same time. I hope we understand. But rather than doing it here, we can go back, use this other method. Go back, this purchase, receive inventory is a one-off process. You purchase and receive at the same time. But for the opened purchase order, go back to that your purchase order. Click view purchase order. Double click and open it. Now that I want to record that this item has been received, if you look at the top, you will see an icon here. Let me circle it. Can you see this icon called receive? Receive that I circled. That's where you're going to click. So we'll click on receive to record that yes, we have received it. Now that we do that, it brought us back. Can you see that it brought us back to that what? That same window. And that's what I'm talking about. Can you see it? It brought us back to that same window. So we'll come, we'll say item, corporate travel. How many? We said we received 100. Sorry. This will select the item, corporate travel package. Then quantity received 100. That's 120,000. Now, if this transaction have been paid for, okay, so what you're going to do now is to enter the amounts that you have paid for it here. Amount paid at purchase. So let's assume that what we have paid at purchase is the complete 120. So you come here and enter 120 million. Is that complete? So once this is done, we'll then click on save. So it's asking for an invoice number. You put the invoice number 00001 since it's the first. Payment method. You can say it was paid through bank transfer or check and all that. So you can say check. Then cash accounts where this money was paid into, check for bank. So select our cash account. If there's a bank account, this is where you select your bank account. So once this has been done, you then come and click on your save. It's asking for reference number. You can also provide the reference number from that transfer. Then you click on your save. So that's it. If you click on list, you will now see the inventory we have just recorded, that the money status have been paid in full, no due payments. So if we also go back, to here and refresh this. If we also go back to that inventory, if we come to inventory items, we click on view, you also figure out that for corporate travel package, we now have hundreds of corporate travel package. Can you see it? Quantity on hand is now 100. Can you see it? Quantity on hand is now 100. So this is how we record the purchase. Now you ask me, sir, how does this affect our inventory and accounts? The inventory, as we can see, if we come to inventory and view, have been updated. It was not 100 in quantity before, but what happened? It has been updated. So the corporate travel package will be added to the inventory with the corresponding cost. And that's what we're having here. I hope you understand this. It also has impact on your GL, the general ledger. For example, if we go to check our the accounts for inventory, our inventory general ledger accounts. So let's go to reports and let's come to company. Let's go to our general ledger and let's come to general ledger. If you come to your inventory, what do you notice here? General ledger on inventory travel packages. What do you notice? You're now seeing 120 million, right? Good. So you find that the value of the package have reflected in the inventory accounts, which is this 120 million. Can you see it there? That's reflected there. You say another ledger account is the accounts payable. You also notice what? That a corresponding payable entry have also been made in the accounts payable ledger, indicating an outstanding balance then to Giant Travel Tours Limited. You can see it. I hope we understand. Another report you can use is that of inventory reports for inventory valuation. So you come to reports, click on inventory. You can then come down and look for your inventory valuation reports. This is it. Open that report. What do you notice here? You find out that it shows you that the corporate travel package has been added to your stock. And that's why we have it here. That the corporate travel package has been added to your stock. One can see it here. So this is where you come. This inventory valuation report is the report you come to whenever you want to view the updated inventory. You go to your reports, come to inventory, select inventory valuation report. And there are a lot of other reports you can also make use of. For example, inventory profitability reports. You can also run this. I mean, we have sold it. We just bought it. So there is nothing there yet. So I hope we understand this. So lastly, let's talk about creating sales invoices for Chevron Nigeria Limited, and this have to do with handling sales transactions. So now we want to sell this product, okay? This product that we have just bought, we have just received from Giant Stores. We want to now sell it. We want to sell it to Chevron. What do we do? Now, if you open your inventory and services dashboard, you also see those reports below as shortcuts for you. Inventory profitability, item costing reports. You can also view it, inventory adjustment journal. You can also see the cost and all of that. Okay, so how do we take care of our sales? I told us for sales transactions, you create a sales invoice for your customer. So how do we do that? We want to sell record sales of corporate travel package, item, and oil field service support to Chevron Nigeria Limited. So what do we do? Step one, we'll go to our tax model. When we get to tax model, the second option is sales/invoicing. That's all you use. So if you don't want to come through there, you can go through your customers and sales. You also see sales invoice here. So if you don't want to use this, you can use the other one. Okay, because that's how you record sales. Since you'll be selling to them, you can do it that same way. So now that we have done this, we'll go back to tax model, click on sales/invoicing. Who is this customer we are selling to? Customer ID. We'll select Chevron Nigeria Limited. The moment you did that, we are told that there is a credit limit of 1,900,000, which is in USD or in Naira. So that means you can't sell on credit to these clients above this limit. Take notes. So we'll click on OK. Now that we have done this, we'll then set the required dates. Okay, then you enter the invoice details. So this is the invoice. Under your item column, you come down, select the item. So you click on that icon and select the item. The item is what? Corporate travel package. So you select it. How many in terms of quantity are we selling? So we can say we are giving them one of these products. Okay, so maybe they are buying one corporate travel package. So you come to quantity, you enter 1. Or let's say they are getting 10. So we say 10. Then for the oil field service, we also come down here and we select the service. We say oil field service support. They are also getting just 1, which is at 2 million naira. We have not set up our sales tax yet. Otherwise, you would have seen it appear here. Under sales tax, this is where you now come and select your sales tax. But we don't have any sales tax set up. If we have sales tax set up, it will be available here. I hope you understand this. It will be available here. So when we look into sales and tax, we will still revisit. So you see how we include this when making sales. So therefore, once this has been done, you can now see the total value is 15 million. Don't forget to assign an invoice number to this. Okay, an invoice number. So what do? You say 001. Invoice number 001. Once you've done this, you can then come down. Now that he's not buying on credit. If he's buying on credit, remember the limit was stated. Oh, good. The limit was stated. In fact, credit limit here is 100,000. Okay, the limit was stated. So something we have to take note of. The limit is stated. Okay. The other one we had, I think it was balance. The client was going around that. So you come, now that this client wants to pay for this, we have to generate a receipt. Assuming they are buying this on credit, you will just go and save. But since they are paying for it at the same time, you click amount paid at sale. Amount paid at sale. You click on this icon here. See the icon I clicked on. There's an icon here, amount paid at sale. Can you see it? That's what I clicked. Amount paid at sale. It now brought this box. I will now enter how much I've received here and enter the payment method here. The deposit ticket ID here. The reference number here. Then the accounts this money was paid into. Is it bank? I'll select the bank accounts here. Is it cash? I'll select the cash accounts here. I hope you understand. So let's do that now. So I said that this customer have paid for this. What do I need to do? I come down, click on amount paid at sale. ID 01. Reference ID 01. Receipt amount 15 million. Payment method, check for bank. Cash accounts, we select the accounts. If we have set up First Bank and our bank account, this is where we'll have it. So we'll say cash, we'll select cash. Then we'll click on record. Now, when you click on record, it says this feature is not available in this version. So you're not recording any credit card payments. So once you're done providing, we did not use credit card for the transaction. So once we are done providing, we'll then choose OK. Once you have done this, we now have our 15 million. Okay, once you have our 15 million, we have said that that's what have been paid at sale. We'll come up and click save. That's all. So if you go to your list now, you will now see where we have paid in full 15 million naira for that very product. So 15 million naira have been paid in full for this sales. So this is how we record sales transactions here in Sage 50. Okay, so you now close. You ask me, sir, how does this affect inventory and accounts? I'll tell you that the moment we recorded this sales transaction and we recorded payment for it, that the inventory have been updated. If you go to check, come to inventory and services, come to inventory items, click on view, you'll find out that the corporate travel package now, the quantity on hand have reduced. Can you see it? It was 100, we sold 10. So it has reduced towards 90. And I told you that if you open this, if you go to history, you will see it here, that at 31st of January, 10 quantity was sold at 15 million. And you can see compared to the cost. So we can also remove, whereas we received 100. There's also an impact on your general ledger. For example, if you go to your report, come to general ledger on your reports. When you come to your general ledger, you will see where we have our general ledger, our sales. Click on general ledger here. You come down to your, this is becoming large now. You see our sales travel service. You see that the sales revenue from both the corporate travel package and oil field service support have reflected here in these sales accounts. That sales travel service, can you see that it has reflected? You can see sales travel service here. In fact, we can go back to our, let's go to our financial statements and let's run our income statements. We find out that sales travel services, we have 15 million. Now, something we did, which is an error, would have been to separate both of them. We are not supposed to have merged travel and oil fields together. So what we mean by this is for us to go back and edit the invoice. So you can edit your invoice. All you have to do is to go back to your tax, come down to sales invoicing, click on list, select that invoice. When it opens, you can now clear up this, what you have here. So I'm going to remove it. So we are saying that this is not part. So it's either you do a kind of delete it, okay? It's either you delete it completely, the invoice, and redo it again, or you do it this way. So with this, we can go back to our amount paid at service and say that our corporate travel package alone, corporate travel package was 15 million. That's okay. Then we'll click on save. All right. So we'll now create a new invoice, still to Chevron. Quantity, we'll say, is just one. The item, oil field service support. Then the unit price is 2 million, good. Then we click amounts, we say 2 million. Cash, that's our bank accounts, 002,002. Okay. Then we say save. Then for our invoice number, don't forget, always provide an invoice number for tracking. We'll say save. So we now have two invoices, which goes to two separate accounts. 15 million to travel package sales, 2 million to oil field services. So now if we go back to this report, we'll now see how it's structured. So if we come back to report financial statements, our income statement for 12 period, okay, we now find out what sales travel services is 15 million. Sales oil field services is 2 million, giving us a total revenue of how much? 17 million. Now, there is an impact here on this sales GL account. And if you can look closely, you find out that the services, the sales revenue, sorry, from both your corporate travel package and oil fields service support will be reflected and have been reflected here in your sales accounts. And you can see the gross profit is 3.5 million. The cost of goods sold, that's the cost of the corporate travel package. You can see it's here, 12 million. The cost of the oil field service is also your support, 1.5 million. So the both of them are recorded in your cost of goods sold accounts. And there is, if you go down, you also see the service expense is also captured there. Now, when we proceed to our statement of financial position, balance sheets here, we run it, you also realize something, that there is an impact, an effect on our inventory. Okay, you can see the inventory amounts for travel packages here. Now, if you look closely on your account receivables, since these have been paid for, that's the reason why we don't necessarily have that. But assuming it was not paid, you will find it appear here. Okay, so it will have been a receivable entry would have been made under account receivable for the total sales amounts, reflecting the money owed by, let's say, Chevron Nigeria Limited. Well, at this point, we are saying no money is owed. So these are places you always go. If you want to track how much you're being owed, you go to your reports. Where do you go to? Go to your reports, come down to, when you get your reports, come to account receivable. Then come down to sales journal. This will show you all your clients. Okay, you'll be able to view the sales transaction recorded for all your clients. So you can see sales transaction for Chevron, when Chevron bought corporate travel package, when Chevron bought oil field service support, you'll see everything here. Then whenever you want to check outstanding, there is the one we call the customer aged receivable. Okay, if you also scroll down, you're able to see the customer's receivable one, this one, age receivable. So this is where you go to each time you want Sage to show you the outstanding balance from your clients. And when we come, we'll see Chevron. Chevron is owing us 2 million naira. So this becomes an outstanding balance due from Chevron Nigeria Limited. So I've showed you where you go to check outstanding balances due for your customers. You go to age receivables. And I also showed you where to go to check transactions, sales transactions for your customers, sales journal, all under account receivable. Lastly, for inventory valuation, you go to your inventory because it also affects inventory. So you come to reports, come down to inventory. So you scroll down to inventory valuation reports. This very one is going to show you, okay, that the corporate travel package has been sold. You see it and you see the quantity that is left for it. You know, for service, we did not enter any quantity. So that's why I don't have it. So this shows you the quantity left and the value of it. So it's very important that you do this. It's when you're done with this, you then go and review your financial statements. And to do this, go to your report, click on financial statements, come and select. Let's say you want to view the financial impact of these transactions on the income statements. Where do you go to? You go to reports, come to financial statements, select your income statements. Click OK. This is your income statement. Now, this report will show the total sales revenue. You can see it. And the cost of goods sold. You can see the total revenue, you can see the cost of goods sold. You can see our gross profit. Giving you the gross profit from this transaction. You can see it. The last one you go to, this for the month ending January 31st. The last you go to is that of the balance sheet. So you come here, you double click on it. So this you're coming to is because you want to see how this transaction affects your company's financial position. So this is where you come. So this report will reflect the updated inventory sale. Can you see it? The updated inventory value as one item was sold, you'll be able to see it. It will also show you the account receivable balance if it was recorded during this period. It's not recorded because we use 31st. So assuming we are saying, let's change it from current period to all. Then we are saying period 1, we are going down to 2023. Then we say down to, okay? And this. So you just need to know which customer was owing you, what period, then you structure it that way. So you can now have all of this appear here for you. And structure it well for you. I hope we understand this. So the account payable will also display Giant Tours Travel Tours Limited for the purchase if made on credit, account receivable balances if you're being owed. So by following all these steps we have just done, you'll find out that you will understand how to handle both sales and purchases transactions here in Sage 50. I hope you master this. So please practice, and the more you practice, the more you're going to perfect everything you do here. Okay. So as we wrap up today's lesson, I want you to remember the financial tools you are learning about are not just for balancing numbers. They are the systems that empower businesses to grow. They are the systems that empower businesses to make decisions. They are the systems that empower businesses to thrive. So whether you're selling a corporate travel package or you're managing an oil field support service for a client like Chevron, Sage 50 gives you the insights you need to succeed. And at Miramar Consulting, we believe in teaching you these things practically, which goes beyond software. We connect you with the knowledge that drives real-world success, just like the travel agency at the airport does for its clients. So that's why our training is respected globally. And after today, you will see why. So don't forget to take your quiz. I look forward to seeing you in the next lesson. Thank you.